So I was in class, right? And our teacher was like, for today's lesson, you're actually going to get to watch Mean Girls. Well, not the movie, but a clip. Automatically, I was psyched. I love Mean Girls. And I get to watch it in my psych class? I mean, double yes. And it was actually the clip where Regina's mom tries really hard to fit in with her child's friends because, she wants to be seen as cool. She goes a whole 9 yards to really try to be friends. Well, after we watched the clip, our teacher went on to teach how it relates to psychology. And, just the way she explained it, oh my god, it fascinated me. And that's why I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it in today's video because she wanted to say some information that was just like so interesting and I want to talk about it. So, what did she say? Well, the whole reason she showed Regina's mom was to show off her parenting style. So, turns out in psychology, how a parents hugely impacts their child's development. I'm talking if your mom didn't love her child's going to grow up to have issues because of that. If a dad was really strict, and I mean really strict, that kid's going to grow up to lie a lot. And I don't know if it's just me, but this is the epitome of what you might think psychology is about. So I was hyped to learn about it. And especially one psychologist was really interested in the different ways people parent and if it had any effect on their child in the long run. Her name was Diana Baumind. She talks saying that there's 4 main types of parenting. We've all know him. We've all seen him. They're the classics. We've got authentarian and authoritative, which is known as being completely different. There's also permissive and neglectful. Each of these influence a child greatly, so let's explore them. And also note that I probably pronounced some of those wrong, but that's okay. I feel like it's only right to begin with the one I used for the intro, so I'll be talking about that first. So, permissive. What exactly is it? I know I've been throwing around terms, but I haven't really been describing what they are. Well, permissive parenting is characterized by parents who are forgiving and they don't set any rules for their children, believe in a more lax position in terms of parenting. Permissive parents are basically parents who let their children do whatever they want when they want. They're the parents who don't say no. And this is why my teacher showed us that clip of Mean Girls. You might have forgotten, so let me just refresh. So in Mean Girls, there's a clip of Regina's mom letting her child do whatever she wants to do. Drink? She can. Party? She can. I mean, she could even speak rude to her mom, and her mom's just okay with that because she has little to no rules for Regina. Ever since I've been in my psych class, I've been seeing the topics I've learned in real life. And it'll be cool to be watching Mean Girls and I'll be like, hey, where have I seen that before? And I'll be like, oh yeah, I learned that in class. Anyways, so like I was saying, permissive parents. We've established they're the types that have no rules for their children. But what about the opposite of this? That's where authentarian comes in. Authentarian parents are demanding, the boss, with no arguments to their decisions, with high boundaries and limits. I'm talking the exact opposite of permissive. They're the ones to say no to hanging out with friends, strict curfews, and might need to even call their parents sir or ma'am. Yeah, you get the gist. Just really strict in general. And I think one example that I can think of is that one dude from the 70s show. Red Foreman, the parents of the main character, Eric Foreman, specifically, to be specific. And it's actually interesting because I've been talking a lot about how much authoritarian and permissive parents are polar opposites. And this show decides to take that dynamic and put it in the show. I'm talking Red Foreman is the prime example of an authoritarian parent and the mother, Kitty Foreman, as a permissive parent. Well, I'd say she's a bit authoritarian too, but authoritative, but not a single parent is just one single style. Anyways, so she's mostly permissive, but she has limits. And anyways, she's mostly permissive. And at the very least, it's an interesting dynamic. And poor Eric is in the middle of all this chaos. And actually, there's this one clip where Eric left in the middle of the night to go, hang out with his friends, teenage things, and his dad just catches him trying to leave and takes him back to the house. And this is where we can actually see the two parents and their parenting styles clashing and how we see how different they think. And yeah, they're water and oil in terms of parenting. And the dad's he's thinking if he doesn't set stricter boundaries and rules on Eric, his child will end up horrible. And the mother, Kitty, which I just love that name, just thinks that he's being hella dramatic and they just need to allow their children more space to hang out with his friends. And in the show, I think it's a pretty funny scene with all the fears dramatized, and it just shows the parenting styles mentioned in psychology, which is cool. So that's authoritarian. Strict, sets boundaries, but what about the parents who just don't do anything? That is where you've got neglectful parenting. Parents who don't do squat, pay little attention to their children. They've got no boundaries, no limits, just honestly no attention or guidance at all. Does this sound familiar? It should, because It's very similar to permissive parents. The only difference is that permissive parents actually do care for their children and love them, just show it in a weird way. Whereas neglectful parents are just neglectful because they just don't care about the children. So, yeah, this style is not preferred, not wanted. Don't be like this. 0 to 10. Neglectful parents are not good parents. But what is? And I've mentioned authoritative parents before, and I said that Kitty Foreman was an authoritative parent. But what exactly is an authoritative parent? Now, don't get it mixed up with authoritarian. Completely different. Authoritative parents set limits, but they're also understanding and allow for growth. They communicate, they're supportive. They're the golden star of parenting, the goal, the idea, the standard for generations to follow. Okay, I'll stop. But they're the style that develops a child to be independent and have high self-esteem. I mean, just studies have shown that this style makes for the best outcome. Okay, that kind of sounds weird with the child being the outcome, but you get the gist. It's a good style to emulate. And Diana Baumind was onto something because I think this just explains like a lot of parents, and it's good. You have to note that like not a single parent falls into a single genre. Some are gonna be wish-wash, some are gonna be mixtures. My parents, I don't think I could just describe them into a single type of parent. Well, I would like to believe my mom is an authoritative, just like think about what your own parent is and think about how like the media you see, like what kind of parents do you see in TV? Like, are they authoritative? Are they neglectful? Are they permissive? It's just cool to think about. And that honestly just concludes the end of the video. I honestly just got to talk about Bauman's parenting styles and mention some TV shows that like the 70s show and Mean Girls. But yeah, that's just the end of it. Thanks for watching, and subscribe and like and all that gist if you like that. Hope to see you in my next video.